morning and welcome to VSA Capital 5 Minute Morning Miner on Friday, the 11th of July, and yet another beautiful sunny morning. Morning, Paul. How are you?
Yes, it is. Very nice day, but going to be hot today again.
No, it'll be just perfect at about 10:22 when I tee off.
Oh,
Although
that's the
the,
thing.
the, the fairways are getting pretty brown, but that just means the ball goes a long way. You don't have to hit it too hard. Anyway, that's what I'll be doing later. Sorry about that, everybody. Right, look, there's not a lot of news. There's one that's really caught my eye. I think it's caught your eye, Paul, because we all know that America is becoming highly interested in a lot of the critical metals all around the world and wants to make sure it's got security in everything. And they've done a really interesting deal on the Mount Pass rare earths mine, haven't they, in California, Paul?
Yes, that's right. The U.S. Pentagon Department of Defense has, under their procurement policy, has chosen to do a $400 million U.S. deal of stock and of preferred stock convertibles and so forth for a 15% stake in Mountain Pass and in MP Materials, the parent company of that. And specifically, that money is to go toward a second rare earth magnet plant to be built with where the offtake from that will be guaranteed to the U.S. Government, and also that there will also be a price floor, a guarantee as to what the U.S. government will pay for that production. Uh, with the new magnet facility, it'll bring MP's total rare earth magnet manufacturing capacity to around 10,000 metric tons a year, which should be pretty significant in the rare earth space for magnets, but ultimately so much more important that the U.S. actually has domestic control of a significant portion of magnet production as a result. It also represents, on behalf of the industry, of the mining industry and the critical materials industry in particular, the willingness now of the U.S. government to step in specifically to give subsidized price and offtake guarantees for these materials.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think what's interesting is that if you can get a deal like this, I mean, to say you're laughing is almost an understatement, Paul, isn't it? I mean, it is great. The only problem is, I did report back, but I'm not sure if I commented on the 5 Minute Morning Mind or not. That the when I was out there, one of the U.S. government officials was presenting at a conference. This was back in May, and he did point out that they have currently, I think, something like 140 LOIs out there, and it could take up to 20 years just to manage to put all of those LOIs in place. And that's the problem. These things take a long time. Now, obviously, in this case, having Gina Reinhardt involved does help because she gets things done. But it is quite it sounds amazing, but it's quite tricky actually to get there in the end. So, anybody who does, by the way, well done because you really achieved something special. So, I mean, we all know some of the companies that are talking to the US government, and if they are successful, well done to them. All credit to them.
That's right. And what we'd really like to see too is some follow on deals being done, particularly in the space where the U.S. does have critical processing shortages in things like graphite, I would say, in particular, and copper mine. Development permits getting pushed through, particularly since they have a number of large deposits there in the U.S., which have been held up from proceeding. And they have a big thing in co-product situations too, like for instance antimony with gold that has been held up in permitting for a long time there in the U.S. So um, more of this we can expect, I think.
Yeah, and the US mines will always get preference to international mines because why wouldn't they? And of course, you also have to be slightly careful. Often people say, "Well, I've got an LOI, I'm there." No, just an LOI is not the finance. You think still got a lot of work to do. Just an interesting mention, and I can't resist this one. You mentioned copper, as we talked quite a lot about copper this week because of the huge spike up in Trump's tariffs. Don't forget that, of course, in Devon, we have one of the highest grade potential copper mines in the world, don't we, Paul?
Yes, and that is the case. And with further definition of that one, I would expect that kind of offtake would end up going into the electricals and defense industry in due course, either for allies of the UK or the EU in either case.
And in case people haven't worked it out, it is Tamar Resources that has the Devon Great Consols mine, which used to be mined historically, didn't it, Paul? At about was it 8% copper or something? Oh, I forget what the exact statistic
Yeah,
is.
some historic grades were up there that high. That's correct.
Yeah, and they obviously they stopped mining it actually because of the mineral rights and the lords who own the mineral rights not getting on with each other. So there's absolutely no reason why I shouldn't just carry on like that. It does dip away, I believe, so you've got to drill it and find the right place. But yes, Devon in the UK, in little old England, has one of the highest grade copper mines in the world, and people forget it. But it's Tamar Resources. Right. Anything else, Paul?
Oh, do have to mention, I think, this Endeavour Silver, 60 million raise that they're going to go for, and specifically that money is going to work on their two other properties that they haven't had time or the finance to pursue with dedicated exploration programs, but they've held them for several years. It's their Parral and Piteria silver and base metal projects, and they are also in Mexico, where you're going to visit, Andrew.
That is correct. We're putting out quite a lot of publicity at the moment on my trip to Mexico at the end of August. I'm visiting four silver mines. Obviously we think they're some of the four best silver mines in Mexico, which is why I've chosen them. But it's Avino, Luca Mining, Sierra Madre, and Guanajuato Silver. Very excited about that. It will be fascinating to see all four mines. Right, I think that's enough, Paul. We'll let people go and enjoy a beautiful weekend, and we'll be back next week.
Very good. See you then.
This podcast has been produced and edited by VSA Capital. It is intended for information purposes and not as investment advice. The information is intended for recipients who understand the risks associated with equity investments in smaller companies. Please do your own research and do not rely on a single source when making an investment decision. VSA Capital may derive fees from this content and seeks to do business with the companies mentioned.